Hi there, Steve Arterburn here, and thank you for joining me for Going Deeper. We're going deeper into marriage, and we're really talking about 8 things that I think can build together to create a magnificent marriage for you. That's what we want to have happen. And so to that end, we're going to talk about baggage today. Now, I got to tell you, for anybody that has ever been married before and now getting married, or into a really deep, involved, maybe even unhealthy relationship and you're getting married, you got to do something before you pull this thing together. You got to do what every dog has learned to do who's obedient. You have to heel. So not that kind of dog healing, but really, a lot of times people bring in the baggage from another relationship because the healing has not occurred and they're in the new relationship way too early. Now, you know, an older guy, often his wife will die and he'll be married within 6 months. Now he brings this baggage into the marriage. What's the baggage? Doesn't stop talking about her because he hasn't finished grieving his previous wife, the first wife, the wife that died. And so he's talking, he's obsessed with her, and he's grieving out loud. And that is going to be a disaster in that relationship. It's too soon. Now let me tell you, I heard this when my previous wife had an affair and I confronted her, she left me. I was devastated. I had a lot of baggage, but I had a lot of people around helping me. But I got to tell you, people said to me, and I didn't know what they meant, didn't really understand it, but they said to me, it's going to take about 5 years for a cloud to lift. After about 5 years, you're going to feel something that's much, much different than you're experiencing it now. And that absolutely happened for me. I don't know why, I can't explain it, but after 5 years there were things that were difficult and a struggle that weren't anymore. I had gotten a lot of counseling and a lot of counsel. So I would just say this, if you were in a relationship before this relationship and that relationship didn't work out, maybe you weren't even married but it was very serious, then, you know, jumping into a new one within a year is probably dangerous. And getting married before 5 years is probably dangerous. But let's just ratchet it back to at least give yourself a couple of years before you get into another relationship that leads to marriage. Here's the thing. I want to learn from my past. If I want to be free of a bunch of baggage, I need to learn from my past versus learning my past. Because a lot of people, they do this stuff, doesn't work out, rather than seeing their contribution, they think it was all the other person's fault. Now they're looking for a new person that won't be so bad. And that's not learning from your past. Learning from your past is being able to say, I was a contributor to this. I was a donor to this breakup or this divorce. You know, maybe I didn't cause the divorce because I didn't choose the divorce, but I caused some problems in that other relationship. So I need to look at that and I need to learn from that. And that requires divorce recovery. If I was married before, that requires therapy, whether I was married before or not. I've really got to heal and learn from that mistake. Now, if I have not done that, I'm going to end up relating to the person I marry, and the person I marry is going to have the head of another person on their shoulders, and I'm not even going to see it. If I had issues with Daddy, I might have the head of my father on the shoulders of my husband, and I'm relating to him as if he were my father. And nothing goes well when I do that. So I heal and I deal with daddy issues, mommy issues, previous relationship issues before I get into this marriage. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. Right out of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, one of the greatest quotes ever by Bill W. And when you think about it, if you don't have acceptance, then nothing else is really going to work. You got to start there with the acceptance. And so I need to find a way to accept my reality, accept the reality of who I am, and accept the reality of the person that I married. And so nobody's like the other people. Everybody's different. They're unique. And I've got to try to find out, how is this person unique? How can I accept them? What do I need to accept that isn't evil? And what do I need to maybe have an intervention over that actually is not good? So that's where I want to take this. I want to intervene if I need to. But outside of the abusive stuff, I need to practice some acceptance of this other person. Now let me give you 4, maybe a bonus 5, but 4 areas of baggage that come into the relationship. First, past relationships. That's really a big part of what we've been talking about. We feel like failures, or we're angry at everybody of the opposite sex because of this. It hasn't healed. So we've got that. We know that past relationships, I can just drag that in to the new relationship, and I'm just going to repeat the whole thing all over again, maybe even worse. And people are going to look at me and say, he did the exact same thing. She did the exact same thing. So we don't want to do that. All right, so that's one. Secondly, there's a financial piece of luggage that we might be bringing in. When you marry somebody, you're marrying their debt. And if you can't find somebody that accepts you and the debt you've rung up, then you probably haven't found the right person. If they're really into separating all the finances out, you probably are marrying a controller that's going to make you absolutely miserable. And you don't want that. You want to be free from that. So finances, they're baggage. And so what a great thing if you have a bunch of financial baggage to say, before I get in a relationship, I want to take care of that financial baggage. That'd be super. All right, childhood. If you had a bad family, you go out and repeat the bad family. If you had a great family, you're upset because you can't duplicate the wonder and amazement that your parents have for you, or that environment that they created with you and for you. So childhood can really be a piece of baggage. A father could ruin his daughter by making her believe that everybody is going to think she's as fantastic and as captivating as he does. I have to tell my daughter Amelia, not everybody's going to be crazy over you like I am. We have to accept that. But you could have a lot of childhood wounds, a lot of being ignored, whatever. And then the fourth baggage you bring in relates to this, abuse. I mean, you could have been abused and no one did anything. You could have been abused, and when somebody found out about it, they didn't want to do anything. And so not only did you get the abuse, but you got the disregard of anybody else that knew about it. So it's a double trauma for you. Now, if you're single and you haven't married, boy, do you ever need to know the person you're marrying. On radio today, this woman said, I have known this person that I married since kindergarten. She didn't say, I knew this person back in kindergarten. What a person is like in kindergarten has nothing to do with what they're going to be like today. I don't even need to say that. I'm embarrassed to say that. So we have to hopefully see the real person before us. We've got to have time to see that person, or that all that baggage, junk, is going to be there. And so if you've got baggage, go get some help, get rid of it before you get married. And don't don't rush this, and the other person isn't kind of forced to deal with their marriage because you're willing to marry them under any circumstances because you're desperate. That can be a huge disaster. So, what do we do when we're married? Both people have baggage. I'll tell you what I'm going to do in about 20 minutes. I'm going to go into a Skype counseling session with my wife. And we're going to do what we do every week. We're going to be in marriage counseling. I believe in marriage counseling. I believe in counseling. So if I believe in it, wouldn't it be good if I did it? I've always felt that way, and I think I'll always be in some kind of counseling. One of the things that counseling does, it helps us learn to communicate about the baggage that we have, or communicate about the baggage the other person has. I got to tell you though, if we could just focus on our own baggage, then we wouldn't need or have the time to focus on the other person's baggage. So we need to communicate about this, and we need to agree at some point we've got to bring in a third party and get it taken care of. We want to be patient with each other in all that we do. We must be patient. Change doesn't happen overnight. And here's the thing, we have to forgive. The repairing of a relationship will never happen if one person has committed some kind of horrible act and then the other person doesn't forgive. You got to forgive. Not only is it the pain of betrayal or whatever happened, but there needs to be a forgiveness, a letting go, and so that you can be free and not bound by the horrible thing that was done to you. And maybe you take classes together. Maybe you do something fun together. Maybe you study together. I don't know what it is, but you've got to build up the relationship so that you can handle the baggage that got on board with you. If you don't build up the relationship, then you're going to try to get baggage overboard, but it's not going to go. It's going to stay right there with you. So what we want to see is you getting help, the other person getting help, and not let the baggage be the destruction of the marriage. Now, How We Love is one of the best books on bringing people together. 7-Minute Marriage Solution, another one. Mediterranean Love Plan, there's another book on marriage. Any of these can help you. They may not be the greatest books ever, but they can provide a starting point for discussions with you and your spouse. I am so glad that you joined me. Now, if you'll join me for our next episode, tomorrow we're going to talk about being playful and the value and importance of play in any kind of a marriage. So, hope you'll tune in for that. In the meantime, we've got plenty of resources. Don't forget Every Man's Bible, Life Recovery Bible, Take Your Life Back, Healing is a Choice. All of these things could help you greatly. So until next time, Steve Arterburn here. So glad you joined me for Going Deeper. And we're going to go deeper next time. And if we don't go deeper, you let me know, and we'll see what we can do about that. But thanks again for joining me. I'll see you here again.